Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of the SciENcv and ORCID setup. This is all about navigating SciENcv. Unfortunately, it needs its own section because the navigation in SciENcv is one of the downfalls of the system. I love it in every other aspect, but the navigation is not intuitive. So at the end of our last video, we ended on the account settings page. And before we dive into the navigation, let's return to the login page because that's where the navigation issues and confusion can start. When I go to my login page, you can see up here that it has my old email address. This indicates that I'm already logged in, but it's confusing because we also see login here with the login options. And if I select a login option, it's not a problem by any means. It just makes you re-log in, but I don't have to. So if you see your name in the top right, you're already logged in. Before we return to account settings, pausing, let's take a minute to note the current menu options. We have dashboard, publications, account settings, and logout. If I go back to account settings, this is where we were. If I click back up here, the menu options have changed and they've been renamed, which is where all of the joy begins in navigating SciENcv. So the My NCBI is actually the dashboard, and you can see it's also over here. For whatever reason on the account settings page, they turned this into a horizontal menu, but this is the dashboard that we saw previously. My bibliography is to your publications. SciENcv is where you navigate to see your own personal SciENcv documents. So if you are an RA and you have delegated accounts, this is not where you want to go if you want to see your delegated accounts. This is for your personal documents that you've created yourself. Account settings is where we are, account settings. And then we also have site preferences, which can only be reached through your account settings. And it's just, if you click into it, it's just a list of settings if you would like to change any of these options. I'm not going to get into that. Let's go back. And before we dive into navigation, for the faculty that's here and is viewing this, I really want to urge you to rely on your research administrator to update and create your documents for you. This is a way that the RAs can show their customer service and their support of your work. This is something they can take off your plate. I have had faculty in the past that have preferred to go in and update their own documents. That's perfectly fine. But just to really urge you to hand this off to your RA. They should be sending you documents that they update for your approval anyway. So nothing that is ever submitted in an application package should be something that you haven't seen. So with that, let's go to the dashboard. My preference for navigation is always to use the menu. So I'm going to click on the dashboard, which is currently called NCBI. Here is our dashboard landing page, and we're going to go through all of these options really quickly. I'm waiting on this bibliography to update. I'm delegated to many accounts, so there's a lot of publications. Okay. Starting over here in the top left, we have the NCBI database. You can search. I never use this box. If I need to update a publication, I'm going directly into the profile and updating it that way. That's what I would recommend you do. Over here, we have save searches. Again, I've never used this box. It's here. I could probably delete both, but I'm used to seeing them, so they're just going to live here on my page. Coming back to this left side, we have publications. It tells me right here that my personal bibliography contains 11 items. These aren't actually, just a caveat, these aren't actually my publications. These are things that I've manually entered in or updated just to play around in the system. I don't have anything published. The main star of the show is all of the faculty's publications that are listed here. It's really nice that it has their full name because I can easily identify what belongs to, what belongs to who. But then coming back over here, before we go into the issue that is delegated CVs, we have a SciENcv section. This is my own little shortcut box into all of the documents that I've ever created for personal use. I use these for testing and training purposes. And then here is delegated CVs. So if I want to log in, I'm a delegate for all of these people, and I want to go into their profile and update their NSF biosketch, their NIH biosketch, their other support document. This is where I will navigate. And this is also why it's important for the faculty listening that please use a login when you're first logging in that is something intuitive, something that includes your name. This is a wonderful example. This is someone's NSF ID. I have no idea who this person is. I can click into it and it will then tell me their name. But on the front page, let's go back to the dashboard. I just hit the back button. I could also have selected it from the menu. But from the dashboard, it just gives me a series of numbers and it's just not intuitive. For the RAs, the easiest way that I found to enter your SciENcv so you can look at all of your own personal, private, created biosketches and other support is through this hyperlink. So again, we are in the dashboard, manage SciENcv, and we are now in my profile. This is a list of all of the biosketches and other support things that I've created. And we also have another list of delegated SciENcv accounts. What's nice about this view is that it shows the full name, but there's always an exception. And here's one of the exceptions. This person used their Outlook to log in originally, and for whatever reason, it's just including their email twice. But anyway, this is here. I honestly don't really navigate to this page often unless I'm training. Otherwise, I just stay on the dashboard. But for the RAs, this is a great page. If you want to play around after you create an account and you want to see how things work, this is a great place to do that. This is private. Nobody else will see it. So let's go. Let's go ahead and go to new document. This is where you can name your document whatever you would like. I don't do anything fancy. I just keep it as intuitive for me as possible. And this is where you select the format you would like SciENcv to use. If you select use an external source, it gives you options from accounts that you've already linked. So for my personal account, I've linked my ERA Commons. I don't have an ORCID, or at least I don't have it linked. But if I did, that would be an option. And all this would do is pull as much information over as it can in order to create an NIH biosketch. So publications that are in there, your personal information that's in there, it would all transpose over. You also have use an existing document. This is only for documents you've already created. So if I wanted to create an NIH biosketch, I had only ever created an NSF one. You do have the option of using the NSF biosketch to transpose as much information over as possible to the NIH format, and it saves you some manual data entry that way. There's also start with a blank document, so you're not moving any information over. You're going to manually enter in all of the data. You would then click create. And here's a common error that you get. I'm going to try to create one more time. Okay, so all I need to do is refresh the page. Let's do this one more time. Those little, I call them glitches, but it happens quite often. You just need to refresh the page and it normally fixes it. Or not. Let's try the NSF and see if it's that format specifically. Let's navigate out and try again. And I will say the glitches really happen, especially now, because a lot of people are creating accounts and are trying to log in and update, so it kind of slows down the platform. I'm sure it's going to get better and better as time goes on. Biosketch. Okay, we had magic this time. So because I started from a blank template, I have to enter in everything manually for the first time. So I'm going to enter in my name because I am the PI, pretending I'm the PI. You can also enter in all this information, but it is not required. And you can see here that I have already linked my ORCID. I've already linked my ERE Commons save. That is all listed. And as you go through each box, you're going to see these little red statements that let you know things are missing. You're going to click on the hyperlinks that are here, and you're just going to complete, excuse me, you're going to complete all of the fillable options. And the red asterisk is anything that's required. University of Florida. I'm going to say I'm a PhD for fun. And it's engineering because that also sounds like fun. 2022. Save. The red error is gone. If I wanted to add in my bachelor's or master's, I would just click on add another degree training and I would go through the options again. If I need to edit the entry, if something needed to be updated, you click edit, and then it then gives you delete and edit options. Once you're done, you click done. Personal statement. This is where you enter in whatever that statement should be, and then you hit this little green check so it saves it. And this is where you can select citations you would like to include. And I want to showcase that it has the instructions here. It's saying I can only add 4. And if I go through and I try to click 5, I have this little warning, which you can't see on the screen, but it tells me, sorry, you can only add 4. So anyway, so here's the citations. You click save, it's then going to save it over. The same for this. Things are missing, it's in red. I click add 1. I go through and fill out all of the boxes that are required. Here's where you add contributions to science. You copy and paste in the description, you add in the citations you'd like. And something I didn't point out about the citations, our faculty can have many citations. The easiest way that I've found to search for them is using Control F and then looking up, starting with the title that you're trying to find. If there's multiple titles, just go through and find the right one, which you cannot see that I now have a search option, but Control F is the shortcut. You can then select all the ones you'd like to add. I can only add 4. It gave me another pop-up letting me know. I'm going to save. If I want to add another contribution, I do that here. I can, of course, select citations again. I don't want to save this, so I'm just going to delete that contribution. There we go. Okay, and then right here is where you can click to include everything from your publication list as a link, the approved link. And then once everything is complete, you can download, and it gives you the option of doing PDF, Word, or XML, and we'll see what that looks like. So things are sorted for you automatically. You can't change that. As long as all of the information is included, this would be what we would upload into the application package, and it would be approved. This is what the sponsor wants. So there is the NIH BioSketch. You can also, from this, I'm trying to think of what to call this, from this section of where we are, if you ever wanted to update the title, they call it the profile name here. This is where you would do that, and you would save. But let's go back to our SciENcv. And we're going to make an NSF BioSketch now. Instead of making it from a blank document, I am going to use what's already available. I'm going to use my last NIH BioSketch, create. Oh, it's giving me the issue again. Let me try refreshing. This is a really good real-life example of things that can go wrong, because this happens quite a bit, unfortunately. That one, create. Oh my word. So let's refresh dashboard. Manage. NSF bio from an existing document, NIH. Okay, so it's not working. But normally it would transpose all the information over. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and go to an NSF bio sketch so you can see what that one looks like. It functions the same, it just looks a bit different. So up here is the personal information. You can select edit. You fill out all the required information. What I really want to show on the NSF bio sketch is that instead of hyperlinks like the NIH, this one has almost like buttons. So you just make sure you click on these button looking options and you fill out all that information. And if I delete it, so this one doesn't have anything and it looks more like a button, then you just fill out all that required information. The same moving forward, section B is required. This is where you add in your appointments and positions. Products are here. Something I want to point out for NSF is they do allow you the option to sort your publications, and you just click on them and drag them, which is really nice. They also, I'm sure they'll be bringing this over to the NIH version, but they also have a way to search their citations. NIH doesn't offer this, and I have to use Control F shortcut. For the NSF BioSketch, you also have to certify. And I am missing information somewhere because it's not allowing me to certify right now. It's because I deleted this. Let's add this really quick, and I'll show you what an NSF BioSketch looks like. University of Florida, Gainesville. My degree, of course, as we know, is PhD in engineering. And just to show that this system won't allow us to make errors, I'm going to go ahead and enter in the day as well. And as you can see, it's still showing me red, and it's letting me know that I didn't enter it in correctly. But as soon as I do, it goes away. And now I have all the sections complete, and now I can download my PDF. Something I want to point out with NSF is they require certifications from the faculty. This one is allowing me to certify it myself because it's showing like this is my personal SciENcv, it's my own BioSketch, I am the PI, so it's allowing me to certify. This is what the button looks like. We are also going to go through what it looks like for a faculty when we are delegated. Oh my word, look, keeps glitching. Sometimes you have to log out completely and log back in. I'm not going to go through all of that, but that's how you would typically download it, and it would then pop up and we could look at it. Let me try refreshing. And again, for the faculty watching, this is one of the reasons I say I urge you to please rely on your research administrator to deal with this part so you can focus on your science. That's the goal. All of this can be, and now the site crashed. Normally it's back within about an hour. Let's try going to the login page. There we go. Okay. Let me see if it'll at least take me to, okay, let's see. Let's go back to the dashboard on the account settings, my NCBI. Go back to manage SciENcv. Back to the NSF BioSketch. Download, certify. And once I've certified this once, as long as no other updates are made, you can continually download this as many times as you need, and it is working now. I just had to refresh. So this is what the NSF BioSketch will look like. Obviously, there would be a lot more information, like it has to include bachelor's, master's, and all of that good stuff, but just for, just so we can see it. And it tells me certified by the PI, which is me, gives the date and time. That's what the NSF looks like. So let's quickly go to the NIH BioSketch so we can see. Yeah, and this one doesn't require certification. Okay, let's look really quickly at the other support. Now that we've gone through how to manually enter the information and what it looks like, the system's pretty straightforward after that with how you update all of the different documents. And it's also really nice at telling you if something needs to be updated. Adjustments are needed. It's either going to be in a yellow box or a red box letting you know something is missing, something needs to be updated. For this one, I pretended to be a different faculty member, Dr. Bartley. So that's why it has her information and her publications here. But it's also letting me know here that it's missing some information. So I just click edit. And I can see that when I last filled this out, these sections were not required, and now they are. So I would need to update both of those sections. Of course, this would be an objective just for demonstration purposes. And then the warning goes away. If I wanted to add in proposal active projects, I select the button. It looks more like NSF over in the other support. Again, NSF's been requiring this for a while, so that's why all of this is kind of more updated than the NIH is. Here's where you add in-kind contributions. You select the button and fill out all of the pertinent information. And then certification is here, or the certification and download. It's not going to let me download it until I go through and update all of the warnings, but it would look similar to the other certification that we already saw, the pop out. I would hit download. It would ask me to certify as the PI. Okay, so now that we've looked at that, let's go back to the dashboard because I want to show you the difference for a delegated account. And again, the dashboard is how I navigate to everything. I don't want to really select from the caret when there's the location. Here, let's go in. This. I don't like using this. Sometimes it doesn't take me to the page that I'm trying to get to because I'm delegated to so many accounts. SciENcv tries to go back to your most recently updated page, but sometimes if I'm on Dr. Sawyer's, if I select SciENcv and I was last in Dr. Carroll's SciENcv, it's going to take me to Dr. Carroll's SciENcv rather than Dr. Sawyer's. So I force it to take me where I want it to by always going back to the dashboard. So anyway, I'm in a delegated account. It tells me that right here, this for Dr. Sawyer. The faculty or you can fill out this little section. I normally fill it out. I find it really helpful too. And here is the list of this person's documents. Dr. Sawyer is no longer at UF, so it's okay that we go in and look at his documents. I didn't go through this little box of all the information that's here, so let's do that really quickly. It gives you when something was last updated. It gives you the title that you chose. These are editable. And it gives you the format. And I really like the format because this type also tells you if something's outdated. This one, for example, this NSF BioSketch, it was only to be used for proposals with due dates on or before May 17, 2024, so it would need to be updated. Also, if I miss that and I go into this BioSketch, it gives me a yellow warning, the yellow or red warnings that we're used to seeing at the top of this page, letting me know that it's outdated. And I can also select this hyperlink to then move it over into the new format. You can also, let's see if science, okay, it took me back to Sawyer. You can also create a new document, call it NSF Bio, and you can also update it this way and create, and it would update it automatically to the new format. Either way you do it is perfectly fine. let's go back into this. And it is not allowing me to download it. Let's see. It's saying I'm missing some information. Here we go. So it won't even let me download it or send this for certification until it's completely updated, which is a really nice that it does. So the country is missing. USA. Let's update this really quickly. Okay. Let me make sure there's nothing else missing. Okay, certification. So because I've updated this, if I click download, it's going to tell me the PI must certify this document before I can generate. But because this is old, it's not letting me send this outdated version to him. So let's go to an NSF biosketch that is updated, because I really want to show, oh shoot, let's go back. Here we go. This was an updated version. Hit download. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're not the PI. On the last pop-out screen, when I was the PI in my SciENcv documents, it just told me to certify. But in this one, I'm in a delegated account, so I have to send a notification to the faculty. What this will do is send them an email with a hyperlink, and it will ask them to click the hyperlink and certify, and they can go in and review their information and certify it that way, which is very nice because this button didn't used to be here. Before, the faculty had to go to SciENcv, log in, navigate to the document that was updated, and certify it on the screen that way. So this is a huge improvement. And the same for the other support. Those have to be certified. This is what that will look like. All right, so we went through NSF biosketches, NIH biosketches, the other support document. Let's go back to the dashboard because I want to show publications very quickly. This is where you update the publications. I was just in Dr. Sawyer's, so I'm going to go into his bibliography. And this is how I would recommend if there's a citation missing that needs to be updated and it's not pulling in from any of the accounts that are linked. This is where you go to add those. And as you go through SciENcv and you are playing around with the options and seeing how things navigate, please make sure you review this page just so you know how to update and what it requires. If you're adding a citation, you can do it from PubMed, which is what I try to do. You can search by any number of things. I normally try with the title. You can also add from a file, and you can also add it manually, which I've done a lot. And similar to the NSF and NIH biosketch with the fillable options, there we go. It's very similar. It tells you what's required, little red asterisk. You go in and you fill out all the information that you can, and it will add it to the citations that you can then add into biosketches if those were missing. Again, I do recommend go through the dashboard to get here and verify that you're in the right bibliography for your faculty member. I've gone in and updated someone's citations and then looked up here and found out that I was actually in someone else's bibliography. So just make sure you access this through the dashboard just to ensure that you're in the right place. All right, I think that was everything we needed to navigate through. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Please create an account. Definitely use the Manage SciENcv option here so you can go in and create documents and see how things work so you're comfortable. The faculty presentation is in 2 weeks. I'm going to urge them to rely on you for help and navigation and answering their questions. So please make sure you have an account ready because they should be delegating you soon as well. All right, thank you for joining me.